here we are in the Bicester warehouse with the sort of equipment that we take overseas. The key bit of equipment, obviously from the point of view of the people who are over there, is where the water comes from. And this is a tap bar that we put up for where people collect their water from a bucket, and they collect their water here. Water obviously comes from possibly a tank, unlike this is an 11,000 litre tank. And of course, to get the water into that tank, it then either gets pumped from a river, or it gets pumped from a borehole, or it gets pumped from somewhere, because water doesn't appear out of nowhere. So you have to have a water source to get it. We bring it into tanks to clean it, clear it up, possibly disinfect it and bring it down. The kits are things which we developed from an original kit which we had in a sanitation unit in the early 70s, which gave us a kit concept idea. We found that in northern Somalia in 1971, we had engineers on the ground and they were ordering equipment, and we found we had compatibility problems between pipes and tanks and pumps, because people were just ordering equipment and very often the outlets were not the same size as what you needed. So we needed to look at that very seriously, and that's how we developed the kit, and that's how the kits have developed since then. They've grown extensively since then, but that was the basic concept, that we put things on the ground in kit form and that you can just build them up like a Meccano set. So we've developed a capacity now to do quite substantial amounts of water. And the experience that we've had over the years still gives us that sort of edge, that lead, that when the UN think about water on sites, they do think about Oxfam now. When you're in a pressurized situation, when you're very stressed, the immediate reaction is to shout and wave your arms, and sometimes that's exactly what you shouldn't do. And therefore you have to be very, very patient to make things work and actually work things through how you're going to get things done in this particular situation. The outcome will liven that particular community up enormously. In the Great Lakes crisis, in one of the big camps, when we actually got water going, it's like Christmas. People were shouting and screaming and waving their arms, and it was just a joy to be there. There was a different atmosphere on that site, because you'd actually managed to spend time with a group of engineers, and we actually got the water up and running. I mean, there are many things that we don't do today that we used to do, and one of those things was that we used to very often have to take money out to fund certainly the start of the emergency. And in '84, when the famous drought in Ethiopia, I was given a phone message from my colleague who was on the ground to get out to Ethiopia as soon as I could, which I did, and I took £500,000 with me on the plane. Despite what people might say, we didn't spend it, of course. It was given to the office put it into the bank, and it was actually the money that started the programme and gave us some resources to run what turned out to be an extremely large programme in the Ethiopia drought. Today, of course, with electronic transfers, we don't need to do that. One of the interesting things for me that happened at that time was that the Blue Peter team came out, and one of the things that they did was to come round and film us on the different sites that we were working. I was on 2 or 3 of the films and also in the studio for that particular appeal, and they raised us a lot of money for the Ethiopia drought. After that, I did other appeals for Blue Peter. Up to that time, one of the things I'd never gone for, I'd never had a Blue Peter badge. When I retired a month ago, Blue Peter came up and I actually ended up having a gold badge. I think any of us who've been involved in emergencies, when we see emergencies going on, like what's happening in East Africa, you want to get out and work at it. The staff are fantastically experienced. So even though I can't go out, I'm pretty confident about the sort of work we're going to do, and I know that the team will provide the services that we've had, because we've got the equipment, we've got the experience. We know those areas. Some of the engineers actually come from Ethiopia and Kenya. So there are people even with sort of local institutional knowledge as well. So when I look at the television, I don't get worried that the job's not being done from our side. I just get anxious and itchy that I would like to be out there doing it myself, which is one of those things I suppose I'll never get rid of.